So every first Wednesday of the month we do a youth program where we get all the youth together in the community who are available, and we do some type of program that's oriented around gardening and growing and the whole plant life cycle. So today we learned about the concept of photosynthesis, which is the process that plants use to create their own food. And it was very fascinating watching the students, how they internalized the information, how they discussed and talked amongst each other, and they learned from each other. So what we had was a little guided watercolor worksheet, and they all painted out in nature, which was very stimulating and peaceful. And they had an open discussion about what photosynthesis was, the different processes that happen, how the relationship between the plants and humans are so vital to each other, the different elements that you need for photosynthesis. And it was very fascinating to watch the community come out and, you know, really talk about these different concepts. And each month we do something different. Next month we'll be talking about like worms and composting and soil health. My husband and I, we own a soil company called Riders Soil Company, and what we do is we make rich organic living soil, and our company has actually been donating and sponsoring the community garden with all the soil, so that's one expense that we don't have. And something very interesting is this week we actually lost water because there was a water leak in the main, and our plants hadn't been able to be watered for at least a week, but because the soil was so rich, the plants didn't die. They were a little sad, but they did not die, and that just shows you how it's really important to have healthy, rich, organic living soil, because it allows the plants to actually carry on their process of photosynthesis and creating food and storing it a lot easier for the times when they may not have enough water, may not have enough sunlight. There's food stored to keep it living and thriving. So what this right here is a lending library. After the pandemic, what happened was that our library closed down for about 2 years, and our children had no access to books. So what we did is we decided to do something about that. And what we did was my husband created this little library here, and we took it to the farmer's market, and we had all the community youth come out and paint it. So this painting is unique art from all the community youth, and we recycle books here. So you take a book and you leave a book. If you don't have a book to leave, that's totally fine. You can still take one. But what are happening is that parents and the community are coming to donate books that they no longer use, and it goes back to someone who can use it. So right now we have the youth here who are looking for books to take home, and we appreciate them, and we appreciate this. Hello and welcome to the Reach Community Garden, California City. This garden here was created by the Roy Enrichment Academy Community Hope, which is a 501c3 that helps with self-sustainability and food equality. And it is fully ran by volunteers. If you ever are in need of any type of organic produce, please feel free to come and visit the community garden. We do all regenerative growing practices. Everything is organic, and we only use fresh filtered water. Here we have created little garden beds, and these little mini shade house structures are here to help protect us from the extreme wind, the extreme sun, and to keep the little critters out. So if you need some vegetables, just come down here to the garden whenever the park is open. We have these little clips here. You just remove the clips from each side. You lift it up carefully. And then the produce is here and available for you to pick. We ask that everyone please only pick what you can use for you and your family, and try not to dig out the entire plant as a whole. There's a certain technique to harvesting. When harvesting, we ask that you please try not to dig up the entire plant, but instead what you'd want to do is go around the perimeters. The leaves are growing around, and what you do is you can harvest it with your fingers, or you can take a scissors to snip it off, and you just break around the outer part of the plant. And what this does is it allows the plant to continue to grow from the center, and it leaves more produce for others to come and pick at a later date. So once you've completed with harvesting everything that you can use for you and your family, we ask that you please close these shade house structures back. What you do is the same way you open it, is you'll take it, and then you want to make sure you're sliding them with between these stems here, and you want to make sure that it's flush so that way the critters have no way of getting in. Then you want to put the clips back on close to the bottom and make sure that it's all flush. If you have any questions or concerns, we have a message board right over there with information about our organization, what we're growing, and other helpful tips. Feel free to contact the number on the board and someone will be glad to answer any of your questions. Remember, the produce here at the community garden is totally free of charge. It's ran all by volunteers, so feel free to pick what you need, and while you're here, if you grab a can and water it, the plants will love the love. Thank you, and we hope to see you soon. So today, more than ever, it's super important for the youth to understand and have a relationship with their food and to know where it comes from. So community gardens help bridge that gap. It allows them to not only create the relationship, but to create a love for food. Who has plants at their house?
Me. Yeah. My mom's a gardener.
Your mom's a gardener? Your mom is a fantastic woman. Who's his mother? I want to meet her. So what's growing this season at the Reach Community Garden Cal City? We have spinach, butter lettuce, garlic, onions, mint, red potatoes, celery, kohlrabi, chard, beets, strawberries, carrots, kale, collard greens, bok choy, arugula, cauliflower, broccoli, leeks, squash, sunflower, and so much more. We're at Central Park in California City, and we're right behind the Senior Center.